Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Built Like This podcast. I'm your host, Maxine, on episode 342. I know. Hold on. I'm going to need you to watch your tone. Watch your tone because we're here right now. Yeah, but what about the last episode? We're here right now. Okay? I'm going to do better. I just got to do better. No, but seriously, it's been a jam-packed few days, both personally, but that's been sorted out. Hi, Freckles Bay. I love you so much. You're amazing. And professionally, with just balancing act of it all. But anyway, we are here. We are great. And we're going to proceed. The show is on. The show is on literally. I hate when I'm like about to record or literally recording and suddenly I get so hot. So I hope you guys can't hear that, but there's a little mini fan going on in the background. If you do hear it, that is it. So let's start off with my fro. Okay. I want to talk about the boldness that it takes to be a Black woman in white spaces. I'm currently reading a book called The Other Black Girl by Zakiya Harris. I believe that's her name. And there's also a Hulu show based on the book. It's a great show. The book is great as well. And it really speaks to the experience of being a Black girl in a predominantly white space. And this is in any capacity. It could be in school, it could be at your workplace, in your neighborhood, it could be in your neighborhood, it could be anywhere. Anyway, I bring that up to say it's so funny whenever I change my hairstyle because just a moment ago I had braids, right? And another time my hair was straightened or it looked more, it just looked straightened in different styles. And so I've worn my fro less than a handful of times, honestly. So they're not used to it. But it's just so interesting whenever I have to like walk in and act like nothing's new. It's like, but I'm used to it. I've been working for some time now, so it's nothing new, but it's always like a breath that you're holding in, like, okay, then we just walk into this space. I remember the first day, not the first, but the first day in a long time I worn out my fro at my workplace. I'm like, okay, let me make sure I'm really dressed to the nine. Okay, dressed to the gods. So, and I'm usually always well dressed anyway, not to be conceited, but I like to dress up. I like to look good. It makes me feel good. So, I'm wearing these knee-high boots. It's still appropriate, it's not like I'm trying to, go out for the night. But nonetheless, I'm wearing these knee-high boots, just a nice dress, and my hair's in a fro, right? At that time, it was like fully down. Right now, as you can see, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you are watching on YouTube. It is there's a band on it, so it's pushed up. Anyway, it was like fully down, and it was like, and here's the thing: I'm learning more about how what you think becomes reality, at least in your mind, right? Obviously. So if you're always thinking, oh, I have to explain myself, or oh, there's an elephant in the room, there could very well be an elephant in the room, but sometimes it could be just your mind playing tricks on you. It could just be nothing more than what you think it is, or nothing at all of what you think it is. Like, don't believe everything you think. Anyway, I say all that to say my hair's in a fro, so I feel like I always have to say that. So where have we been? What's going on? Uh, what's going on in these streets? So we know the election is around the corner. Early voting has begun. MAGA 2025. Well, 2024. No, I mean, yeah, but vote as you please. This is no pressure to do anything. But of course, we're going to discuss what's been going on regarding that. There's been so much happening uh just in regards of Kamala pandering yet again, and black people, not every, because I'm really proud, I'm really proud of black men and the boldness that they're presenting when it comes to, well, some black men, not Charlemagne, not Common. Let's talk about Common. This nigga, hold on. I sent this to Freckles, but I don't know if he watched it yet. But it's just so funny because, like, Common, he's from Chicago. And for him to be, he probably was paid off, of course. But nonetheless, he's speaking to black men in the room and he's trying to convince them that Kamala, she knows us. She knows the struggle. She understands, she comes from a middle class family. My mother was a working middle class woman. Like, girl, enough. Anyway, so Common was talking to some black men, telling them about why they should vote for her. And it's just the gall. He has the, okay, I found it. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and share this clip real quick and we're gonna talk about it because I just cannot, dog. It's wild. Like, what in the hell is Common talking about? Okay, make sure you are watching the YouTube video of this episode, of every episode. So be sure you are subscribed. Let's go ahead and get into it.
Where she knows what the struggles we have. She's been through it, been around it, she's taken it in. That's when you're able to be active for those communities. If you distant from,
I'm gonna start from the beginning.
Where she knows what the struggles we have. She's been through it, been around it.
What exactly has Kamala been through? Didn't she go to a boarding school? Didn't she live in Canada for some time? Isn't a parent of hers from India? What exactly has Kamala gone through that correlates to the black man experience in America?
She's taking it in. That's when you're able to be active for those communities. If you
look at the guy sitting next to him. He's like, like, sir, do you hear a beat in your head? What are you nodding your head for like that?
For those communities, if you distant from that, like, I couldn't come.
That guy right there. The guy in the red hat. He's just like, yeah,
distant from that, like, I couldn't come. Point blank.
Look like he just woke up and he's just like, oh yeah. What's going on?
I wouldn't be able to come here and say nothing if I ain't grow up a certain way or still didn't keep my foot planted in it. You know what I'm saying? And if you distant, where she knows.
This is stupid. He's saying a bunch of nothing. Anyway, there are so many clips of just people trying to convince black men to vote blue, to vote Kamala. And yet, black men, the ones who are not bought out, the ones who have some level of integrity and wherewithal to say, you know what? It's going to be a no for me, dog. It's going to be a no for me, dog. I want to just give a shout out to those black men because, my God, today, I mean, the list goes on, but starting off with Freckles Bay, that's one. And now getting into like the people in the media. Let's see. I'm going to go in and play this clip for y'all to see. That is pretty public. Like, it's on a major platform. For CNN, actually, no, this is MSNBC. For MSNBC to have these open conversations of black men comfortably boldly. And I have to say boldly because, again, the pressure put on Black men, especially since Barack Obama decided to chastise Black men for not being in support of Kamala and basically calling them out to be sexist in doing so. I find this to be very commendable to see so many Black men publicly and comfortably saying, yeah, it's going to be a no for me, dog. I'm not voting Kamala. I'm not going blue and supporting the Democratic Party just because y'all are expecting us to because we're Black. Let's cut the BS. So let's go ahead and start off with this clip here. Again, this is from MSNBC. And let's get into it, y'all.
And I just wonder for anybody who heard that, like what they thought of that.
Deeply offended. I was deeply offended. And it felt like a moment where it's like, you N-words better get in line and do what we say. And it felt like him as the czar of the Democratic Party coming down to say, go get these N-words in line. And the general tone of it was disgusting. It was abhorrent. I don't respect it. I didn't like nothing about it. And Kamala, 2 days after that, is like, we love our Black men. We have programs and things that we're rolling out for them, and she rolled out policy.
Good cop, bad cop. You know, because
I'm tired of the good cop, bad cop. I'm tired of it.
And I just wonder for
good. And absolutely, just like he said, they should be tired. We should be tired. As Black women, I am tired of seeing Black men being pawned and used as shields and as punching bags whenever they're not falling in line with what the Democratic Party wants them to fall in line with. So let me play some more because there's actually so many clips from this MSNBC. Is she a Black woman herself? I don't know who Alex Wagner. She looks like she could be. She looks a little Kamala-ish, right? Hold on, child. But people are going out their way. Wagner. Going out their way. This is the one I want to play for y'all. Okay. So this is another example of Black men and women publicly claiming and standing on their 10 toes down of why they are not voting blue no matter who. Let's get into this.
What are your feelings? And let me start with the women here about Kamala Harris.
She's a woman of color. I'm not putting her down because of that. And I'm not putting her down because she's a woman. I'm not a feminist, so I'm sorry. But at the end of the day, I don't think that she has the personality. I don't think that she has what it takes to go up against Putin and go up against these other presidents.
So just a FYI, I have to make sure I I have to make sure I speed up the sound of videos moving forward, because if you haven't noticed, 2 episodes ago, the one I talked about Jaguar rights got taken down. Yes, whoever is on Star's camp decided to take down little old me. So despite me trying to fight against it and say, well, this is public, freedom of speech, and I had the whole template that I use, but nonetheless, because I was fighting back, the second response I got was the video was taken down and your channel has been given a strike, and 3 strikes, I'm out. So it's just a whole silly thing. I mean, it's not silly, I guess, but it's ridiculous because everyone used that same clip. So I didn't think anyway, now I know, just moving forward, every clip I play, and even though this is MSNBC and it should be used, without any charge, but who knows? So in case you're like, why are they talking so fast? That's because I have to put the speed on because I'm not trying to get this channel taken down. Okay. So bear with me. It is at the speed of 1.5. She is talking fast.
Presidents that are built for this. I don't want to be scared because my president is scared. I want my president to feel secure and manly and about it.
We brought up gender, right? Do you think it matters that she's a woman and people aren't comfortable having a woman in a top leadership role?
No, I don't think that, because most men, they love their mothers. They love their wives. So as a woman, most men, they respect the woman, but she just don't.
I put it back. I put it at 1.25. So just in case.
Don't have the qualification or the education to really run America, because she don't have the experience. She don't understand our struggles. And for me to,
people be like, oh, well, she's a DA. She's a DA. She has the experience. How does that correlate to having the experience? I don't understand that. Like, what? But yeah, I can see a lot of people reacting to what she's saying here. Oh, she doesn't have the experience. And people saying, oh, she's wrong for saying that because, oh, she's been a district attorney. She's been a senator, right? Nonetheless, I mean, who really has the experience of being a president, right? So I'm sure that's not the best argument, but nonetheless, her points are still valid.
To believe you for another 4 years, you're crazy.
Right.
Like, you're crazy. You're saying the same thing that you said 4 years ago.
So the fact that she's the vice president,
That's
to
just
you,
the
is
bottom
enough.
line.
You're like, you've been here, you've had a chance.
Yes.
Well, for me, the very first time I ever heard the name Kamala Harris, it was in association to locking up parents for a truancy. That was the first time I ever heard her name. And I really didn't understand how this person claims to be a Black woman, but yet she's locking up Black women and Black men and separating families.
I like that she said, I don't understand how she's claiming, right? Like, she's not even going to give her, I don't understand how she's a Black woman and she's doing it. No, she said, I don't understand how she's claiming.
This is a thing that is, Trump talks about this a lot. He says, you know, Kamala Harris became Black when it was convenient.
Right. Yep.
Can you talk to me about, do you agree with him on that? Do you feel like she's wearing her Blackness?
Absolutely. She's sworn when she sworn to the Senate, it was as the first Indian American.
Thank you.
Which is, it's fine. We don't care.
We all know she's not Black. Let's understand that. We are all clear of that. But my point of view, like I told you earlier, she's already been there. She's in office right now.
Okay, so even so, I think this woman here is in favor of Kamala, trying to say, okay, regardless, yeah, we know she's not really Black, but hey, she's been in office already, right, as VP, so she has enough experience. But even so, within your role as VP, you had no movement, going forward for the uplifting attempts for Black people. Let's see if there's any more, if I can find that. Nonetheless, okay. Oh, this is another one I want to. Oh, that's not a clip. It's just a video or a picture. Yeah, some of the people looking all. Child, no, I don't know. All right, so there's that. Yeah, so early voting is here. I encourage you all to early vote. I encourage you all to vote. Definitely vote. And don't vote blue no matter who. Vote because vote for whoever you feel is best for your level of lifestyle, for your quality of life and the life of your loved ones, etc. Again, I'm not trying to force anyone to do whatever they don't want to do. I just want us to be more critically sound and aware of how things are used based on identity politics. And I just don't think that is, what's the word? Not just fair, but I just don't think that's something that speaks to our intelligence. I feel like that insults our intelligence. And this brings me to our next point. So oftentimes, whenever there's a candidate that's in the Democratic Party who's trying to get elected, where do they go? To the church, to the Black church, the Baptist church. And Kamala decided to pay a visit to Pastor Jamal Bryant's church, New Birth, I guess it was church called New Birth something. And what's ironic about this is Pastor Bryant, he's like trying to lecture people now, talking about if you don't vote for Kamala, then you don't appreciate women, you don't love women, you don't support women. And the irony is so wide, right? Like, the irony is so in your freaking face. And if you're not familiar with Pastor Jamal Bryant, he's a pastor in Atlanta, Georgia, and he's known for being a philanderer, allegedly. Let me add that too, child. because my little old channel's getting so much attention and people gotta copyright my video. But yeah, allegedly he has been laying it low and whipping it wide to many of his female congregants at the church while he was married to previous wives. Well, the only wife I know he was married to was Giselle Bryant, who is one of the housewives of Real Housewives of Potomac. And that's why I know this, because I'm familiar with Giselle from the show, because I watched the show. So anyway, so yeah, there's a lot of rumors about him just being that guy. And look, something about pastors, something about Black men in the church and being at the pulpit. Like, women will just open their mouths and be like, okay, put your dick in it. Go ahead. Like, it's that serious. Like, I've seen it. Like, there's I don't know if it's right to say it, but there's a spell. There's a spell in the church in that regard. And again, I'm speaking to the Black men who are visibly praising God, who are visibly worshiping, it could be worship leaders, it could be the praise and worship leaders, it could be the pianist, it could be the pastor, it could be the deacon. Whenever Black women see a Black man at church publicly worshiping God, that Black man could be married, single, in a committed relationship, fully next to his wife, his girlfriend, whomever. A lot of Black women in that church would be like, put your dick right here. Go ahead. Tell me, am I lying? Huh? Is my mic on? I'm not lying. There is a spell on Black women in the church when they see Black men out here being men of God. There's a presence about that. It's a hypnotizing moment. It's a hypnotic moment. I'm telling you, there's something about it. So, yes, Pastor Jamal Bryant shouldn't be doing what he's been doing allegedly. And he's now engaged to someone new. I think they're already married. Nonetheless, but I think there's a spirit in the house of the Lord in those situations. I really do. Anyway, this brings me to the point that I'm bringing right now. The irony again is he's talking all righteous about, well, if men don't vote for Kamala, then they're being misogynist, chauvinistic type of men. And for him to be known for being an infidel and all these things, it's like, sir, I say it. Anyway, he decided to have Kamala Harris at his church, and he is having her be praised. It's very sacrilegious. Can we just talk about that? The sacrilegiosity of it all is actually quite disturbing. Seriously, there is something so strange about that. Like, why do we worship people when we're supposed to be worshiping God? Why do we think it's appropriate to do so, yet we're in the house of the Lord and we're supposed to be giving our full attention to worshiping God? When Kamala Harris walked down the aisle of this Black church, when I tell you, if people could have given her every tithe in their pocket, every bit of their, if they had the choice to give their souls to her, they would have. because of this adoration, this praise, it's a spell. It's sick. It's sick. Like, how is someone else coming to the church and they're just like gawking at this woman? What is this your savior? Is this your king? Shout out to Black Panther. Let me go ahead and play this clip, okay? Because it's quite disturbing. I'm gonna start from the beginning. We bless you. We bless you. We bless you. We bless you. Come on. Seek it out. Seek it out. We bless your name. We bless your name. All right, let me just mute that. But I'm playing the video again. Make sure you are watching. She's walking down. She is blocked off, of course, because she's a political figure, and she's getting so much praise, so much adoration. She's allegedly, because I don't know. There's that one picture of her standing by AKAs wearing a sweater with the letters on it. Whatever. I just don't know what chapter it is, so let's talk about that. But let's talk about AK. That's a whole nother episode. I'll probably get canceled if I talk about that. Even though there's a whole lot of videos on YouTube of Christians denouncing their letters. By letters, I mean their fraternity, their sorority, after coming into the light and realizing the demonic energy and origin of their said fraternity / sorority. So I encourage you, if you're interested, there's a whole rabbit hole about that. And mind you, I remember when this came across my timeline, that wasn't even a thing back then when I was in college, but nonetheless, it was a timeline because there were videos. YouTube was around back then. And I brought this up to my friend, my college bestie at the time, who I was roommates with. And I just gently mentioned, it wasn't even something where I was like trying to shame her. I just like mentioned to her what I saw, what I found out about, and what I read. Because at the time she was pledging to become, I'm not gonna say which one, just one of the Black female sorority groups. And so I'm seeing her wake up late at night, go to X, Y, and Z. They always say they gotta break you to build you. I never fell for that BS. Like, why am I being broken? Why do I have to buy friends? F you. Like, it's just not, I'm not that girl. I'm not that girl. I guess no shade to anyone else, but it's never been me. I've never been that thirsty, if that's the right word to say. I know that's going to be offensive, but it's just this level of thirst that I realize is had there, because for me to be broken down and it builds character, no, it doesn't. Cut it out. Ooh, I think it's more so about the popularity than it is anything else. Oh, it's community service. You can do community service at any group. Cut it out. You don't have to beat me up and fuck me from behind and have me get your lunch at 3 a.m. because why are you eating lunch at 3 a.m. but you're hungry and you're my whatever term that is, my big sis. No. Child, we go on and on. But the point is, I bring this up to say Kamala is allegedly an AKA. And in the Black church, there are plenty of sorority members present. And they're clearly present in pink, as you can see in this still of the video, to give honor of her sorority. They're probably in the sorority as well. And it looked like the people around her when Kamala was, and I'll play it in the background without the sound, but looks like the people she was sitting around were or are members of her sorority. So the point is, this is very heavy in the Black church. Very heavy in the Black church. In the Black American church. Let me say that specifically, because I don't know about the Caribbean Black churches, but very heavy in the Black church because it's just a part of the historical context, whatever. Nonetheless, you just see this praise and adoration of the sorority, of that fraternity, and oh, it's a brotherhood, it's a sisterhood. Sure, maybe you can eventually build strong bonds with the people who you got beaten up with while y'all were pledging. Sure. I mean, that's bound to happen. Sure. I'm gonna get some. Sure. But was it worth it? Was your soul worth it? Was your soul worth it? Child, again, I'm just gonna advise you to just type in YouTube denouncing Black sorority, and you'll find a plethora of videos of men and women denouncing their letters. Listen and understand why. And come back to the comments. I welcome you in a respectful conversation, of course. You know, if you disagree, that's your right. But I encourage you to just look into it, because there's a lot. And they would denounce it so much so where they would, because it's a whole unofficial process. You have to pay your dues. You have to pay. So they would denounce by writing a public letter and making it clear and known, and you get shunned from your line sisters, you know, some of them at least. It's just like with anything, you know, when you grow up into the mindset of following a certain order and you finally break out of that mindset, there are other people who are still in that mindset. So now you're being offensive. You're offending what I love, what I surround myself with. Anyway, child, it's a whole thing. Maybe we'll have a specific episode on it. But I'm not one to like, it's just weird because I'm not affiliated, as you all know. Obviously, I'm not affiliated with any sorority. It's never been my jive. But I have people in my life who are. A lot of people in my life who are. And again, when I was in college, and I just gently mentioned this to my college bestie / roomie at the time, she got so defensive, and it was a spirit, y'all. It was a spirit in her, like, nah, don't you dare tell me to not worship this other demon in the sorority that I'm trying to be a part of. Okay, go ahead. And I have a cousin who's in it, and I remember mentioning to her, and she was like, no, I'm telling you, I went through the whole process. None of that happened. And here's the thing. That's what they would get at. They'll say, oh no, it never happened with me. I'm a Christian and I'm still, you know, in this sorority. Again, I'm not gonna say a specific sorority. It's in all of them. Don't get me wrong, it's in all of them. But I'm not gonna say the specific sorority of those two examples. But it's in all of them. It's in all of them. But yeah, she'll say like, oh no, but I'm still, either way, you've aligned yourself with this covenant, this pledge. You're pledging to it's called a Zaretha, something with a Z. And this might get into the specific sorority that I'm talking about, but again, it's in all of them. They have specific deities and gods in those sororities that they will sing to, you know, and they will have these rituals. And child, just go on YouTube. I'm not doing it justice, and come back in the comments respectfully and let's have a conversation. But yeah, the point is Kamala's being praised here. And it's just the Antichrist is so loud, yet we sometimes become blind to it because we get so drunk off of identity politics. Oh, look at this woman. Look at Kamala Harris. She has a silk press just like me. She's light skinned just like me. She obviously, I'm saying this in a rhetorical type of way. I'm not any of those things, right? But the point is, they use that to your disadvantage. So when Common says she just like she knows the struggle, she knows what we've been through, I wish one of those Black men would have said, how so? Tell me more. Provide me with specificity. Ooh, that word used to beat my ass. But provide me with some facts, Common. But that they didn't show that in the clip, huh? And if you see me looking over here, it's because I have two screens. That's why. Shout out to Freckles Bay. He's amazing. He's a good man, Savannah. Let's go ahead and listen to this one.
Now, God, not for her name, but we promise we're going to give you all of the victory. Not by might, not by power, but only by your spirit. And those of you who believe that Kamala Harris was born for this moment, would you give God glory for her even in this?
And what's funny is it was just recently, I think she had to do some damage control. It was just recently, Kamala Harris was at her rally, and one of the people in the audience side decided to say, Jesus is Lord, Jesus is King. And she stopped him. She said, you know how she's, let me do a Kamala reenactment real quick, because she be doing this like retarded laugh. No offense, but that is the clinically correct term. It's not offensive, but she be doing like, are you okay? Why are your hands? I'll see if I can find that clip. I have a friend who says people call her laugh the Kamala laugh. That's just so funny. They said she's a Kamala laugh, but she does have like a crazy laugh. Just be doing a lot. Like, what is the joke? Tell me the joke. Okay. But yeah, like she's laughing and she's saying that and she's making it seem like you can't speak the name of Jesus. Okay. Yet now she's going to the church and making it known. Oh, it's not gonna pop up because it was a story. Okay, it's fine. Whatever. I don't care. Nonetheless, the Kamala laugh is ridiculously annoying. But let's get into this next clip here of this pastor telling us very clearly and boldly that he does not care about Kamala and will not be voting for her. And I just want to give him a shout out. Shout out. Let me just fix that speech. I'm not trying to get copywritten yet again.
You don't have to like me. When you preach the word of God, you're being called biased and you're looking at me, amening me, but you are voting for the very people who put these policies into operation. And then you wonder why your children can't get off drugs and why your boy doesn't know whether he's a boy or a girl anymore, because you invited people into hierarchies who are under the spirit of witchcraft. Doesn't matter what party you're in. If you are doing things that stop the anointing from operating, if you are going against the basic principles of the word of God, I cannot vote for you, no matter what color you are. You don't have to like me. Hear me very clearly. Kamala Harris will not get my vote. Let me tell you why.
He's like, I am being very clear. She will not get my vote.
It's not because I don't like her. I think she's fine. But the people who are financing her, the money behind her, the hands that are moving her mouth, are the money and the forces that are trying to destroy the basic fabric and foundation of the Judeo-Christian ethic. And you mark my words.
And there we have it. She will not be getting my vote. Okay. She is not getting my vote, child. Okay. So speaking of votes, Trump is set to appear on the Joe Rogan podcast. No, should I say the Joe Rogan Experience? It's been a minute since I've really watched an episode of his podcast. I don't know why it's been a minute. Like maybe there just hasn't been any interesting guests that I care to check in and check his page and see. Did anyone pop up that I care to watch? Like I love it when he has like Ari Shaffir and Shane Gillis and even like any of those like nerdy guys that talks about like science and stuff. I like that. But yeah, he hasn't had a good guest in a minute. Honestly, the last one I really watched was the Sean Ryan one, and that was 4 weeks ago. But yeah, it's been a minute. I think maybe he's been on vacation. I don't know. But the point is he hasn't been hitting it the way that he usually has. So the story is, because there's been a lot of people telling that Trump is going to be on his podcast. Who knows? It's alleged that it may be this Friday, today, as you are listening to this podcast. You may also come across your timeline of Trump on Rogan. Guess we'll be tuned in. I mean, I'm not saying that like I'm good. He's so interesting to listen to, but it's just the anxiety of it all. I guess the excitement of it all. I'm looking forward to see how that goes. But let's see. Both Kamala and Trump will be in Texas on Friday. And that's going to be interesting. Why? Because Kamala is set to have a rally or parade somewhat happening on Friday. And finally, I'm saying finally because Beyonce has been said to be opening at one of Kamala's previous rallies, but that didn't happen. And people are like, okay, where's Beyonce? Why are people saying Beyonce's here? She's not here. Yeah. So now it's seemingly confirmed Beyonce will make an appearance and endorse publicly and maybe even perform something, who knows, on Friday, today, as you are listening to this podcast, if you're listening to it on time. So we'll see about that. And Trump will be on Rogan's podcast on Friday. This is all alleged. Who knows if this will actually happen? Trump has been making his rounds, though. He's been on Theo Von's podcast this past weekend. That's the name of his podcast. He's also been on Full Send, as well as Flagrant podcast, which is hosted by Andrew Schultz. So, he's making his rounds. We shall see how this goes. I am looking forward to any of the responses. Let me just text my babe real quick. Good night, babe. Love him. He's a good man, Savannah. All right. So yeah, that is set to happen. And we'll definitely discuss this once that happens. Okay, what else should we get into? So Cardi B got upset recently because she got a prank call that led to CPS coming to her house. Yeah, it's very interesting. I'm going to go ahead and share this TMZ article that gives us the information of the situation. So Cardi B slams CPS prank caller for reporting her kids in danger. Let's see if I could play this clip. No, I'm not even gonna try to play it. I don't even know why. Nope. But anyway, she is firing back at the prank caller. This prank caller apparently reported her kids to CPS. I'm saying prank with the bunny ears because that's a very random call. And what details were given that were so clear and specific that led to CPS taking this seriously and doing a welfare check at least to see if this is true. You know, that just makes me wonder, with all that's been happening in recent weeks regarding Diddy and the Schmerks trafficking, there's been a lot of reports of alleged involvement from our well-adored celebrities, politicians, the list goes on. Apparently, trafficking is big business. Humans are big business. We are a commodity. We are expensive. We make money just from our bodies alone. I mean, bring it back to slavery, right? So the point is, hearing about this news regarding Cardi B, and she's saying that it's a prank caller. Who knows what exactly it is? But she is now in the hospital. She's been hospitalized. This literally happened today. And she is hospitalized. I don't know. I'm just, the timing of everything is interesting. It's interesting.
Services for Child Protective Services to come to my fucking house, not my house, my gated mansion at 11 p.m. while my children are sleeping because there's an anonymous call that there's been going on that my kids have been getting abused and beaten. Are you fucking dumb? Are you fucking dumb?
I'm trying to
This is
pause
when
it.
the pranks start getting too far. When you motherfucking, when you fucking assholes think the shit is.
Okay, I'm gonna close it because I couldn't pause it. I didn't feel like watching it anymore. But yeah, so that's what's happening in these streets when it comes to trafficking. Who knows? Now she's hospitalized. I don't know what's going on. Hope all is well. But her medical emergency is now so much so that she had to cancel a festival appearance or performance that she initially had scheduled. Whatever's going on with that, but it's all very suspicious to me, which leads me to Abercrombie and Fitch. Remember that store? This store used to be the store growing up when I was a young kid. I used to get my polos from here, and it was very white centered. Even walking into the store, very white centered. You felt uncomfortable and out of place if you were in there as a Black person, especially growing up in Boston too. You know, all of that impacted my experience at Abercrombie. But there was a time, remember the days when Kanye wore polo shirts and that preppy look was a style? That was an era for me during my formative years. So Abercrombie and Fitch was a staple store for me to get those clothing pieces and be a part of the mix. Come to find out, the ex Abercrombie CEO is accused of Schmerks trafficking. And the list goes on. Like, there are so many people allegedly involved in trafficking. Like I said, it's big business. Kanye West has an ex-assistant. Her name is Lauren Pisciata. She accused him of trafficking women. And we all know the Diddy situation. Diddy is locked up currently. And there hasn't been any new developments as of yet. But nonetheless, he is accused of trafficking and all of that, right? So we know Weinstein, right? And so obviously it's not just them, right? Diddy is just a small measure of what's going on. And the Abercrombie and Fitch CEO is another small measure. Like, it's a whole network. you can't tell me that there aren't other people, plenty of other people in the entertainment industry, in the political world, in these high elite spaces who are involved in such debauchery and such demonic activity. Because when money becomes your God, when money becomes your Lord, you will do anything for it. And it's one thing to want to make more money because you want to further elevate your lifestyle, you want to break out of poverty, you want better for yourself. That's one thing. There's nothing wrong with that. I never liked the saying of money is the root of all evil. That's not what it is. It's the love of money. It's the sick love that you grow. Because you may love, let me even modify that. You may love money. That's fine because of what it does, right? It brings you to more resources. It brings you to peace of mind, knowing that your bills are covered and paid for. Oh, excuse me. But if your morals are no longer, if you lack any sense of decorum, if you are willing to sacrifice lives and yourself and your loved ones for money, then that is truly an act of the devil. So yeah, Abercrombie and Fitch. I think the store got canceled long ago. There's a documentary out of the store as well for being racist as F, and I totally see that to be a true thing. Because again, my experience being younger, walking into Abercrombie and Fitch, never feeling like I was allowed in the space because it seems to be only exclusive. It seems to be exclusive for white people. So good riddance. All righty. Let's go ahead and wrap it up there, y'all. I am so happy to be back. And I'm glad that you guys are understanding and you have patience. Thank you so much. I'm working on getting the video. It was 2 episodes ago. Again, it was the one about Jaguar Wright. In case you already seen it, that's what I'm referring to. The audio version of that is just fine. I mean, it's available on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, so you can listen to that just fine. But the video version, it's not on YouTube anymore. So I'm working on getting that back up with the modifications, and that'll be up shortly. But thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate your understanding and support. I will continue to do better, and that is both personally, professionally, and in all the ways. I've been doing these affirmations. They've been really helpful, and I'm realizing, with self-care, self-love, it's not about this, how sometimes we just focus on the external, the physical. Oh, I'm getting my hair done, that's self-care, and that could be, don't get me wrong, is when you feel good. I think when you look good, it really does help you to feel good. But in addition to that, you should also rewire your thinking, your mindset, and limited beliefs that have made you believe it's not okay to be vulnerable or to trust others. So these past few days made me open my mind. I had a breakthrough, and I'm just so grateful again for Freckles Bay. I'm sorry. This is like a dedication to him, child. At this point, this whole episode, just love him. But seriously, it's just, there's a lot of growth that I've been exposed to, and I'm going through both personally, and I love that. So affirmations have been amazing. I encourage you all to try that. And that's about it, y'all. I hope to have you guys discuss these topics in the comments. If you would like to share an opinion of yours on any of the topics I've discussed so far, there is a link in the description box of the Spotify and the Apple Podcasts platforms. You'll see a link there for you to record a voice note. It's pretty cool. Record a voice note of you sharing your take on anything, and I will play that on a future episode, and we'll have a one-way conversation. Isn't that fun? Isn't that fun? All right, I'm all set here. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will check in with you all next time. Peace.